Before we record our drum beat, we have to set up our metronome. We did this in Ableton in our first clips lesson, so if you need a refresher, you can go back and check that lesson out again. Today we're going to set up the metronome using Push. In this section, this is where all the magic happens. I can toggle the metronome on and off using this button, and I can dial in a tempo using this knob. Notice that when I simply touch the knob, the current tempo in beats per minute is displayed. Super cool. I can adjust this later to make the beat faster or slower, and I can add a degree of swing to the beat using this controller. More on that later. If I want to hear the metronome so I can fool around with the drum pads in time, all I have to do is make sure the metronome is toggled on. This button will flash when it is. Then I'll hit the play button down here. Okay, that's a bit loud. No problem though. If your metronome is too loud or too soft, you can adjust the cue volume over here using the master volume controller. It's the last knob on the right. Just touching this control will change the display to the current master volume setting. It's the same as the master volume fader on your screen in Ableton Live, and you can adjust it from here. Notice that moving the knob turns the fader on the screen. To adjust the cue volume, hold the knob and then press the shift button in the lower right-hand corner at the same time. This will change the cue volume or the metronome volume, and you can dial in your favorite setting. Let's do that now. Too loud. There we go. That's about right. The metronome establishes the beat, or the way you tap your foot to the music. So if you're hearing a particularly funky drum groove in your head, start tapping your foot to it and make the metronome do what your foot is doing. I'm going to give myself a 1-bar count off, and then I'm going to record a simple 4 on the floor ground rhythm with the kick drum. You've probably noticed that Ableton maps the kick drum onto the lower left pad. But if you look closely at the screen, you'll see a second kick drum here. More on this and these other drums and how to use them in our next lesson. With the metronome armed and my tempo dialed in, I'm ready to record. I'll tap the red record circle, I'll get my count off, and play the kick drum pad to match the metronome. Then I'll tap the green play triangle to stop, like this. Made a mistake? No problem. Tap the undo button and try again. There is no quiz for this lesson, and no project either. Just a few show me questions. You need to be able to show me how to toggle the metronome on and off, tap in a tempo, start and stop playback, adjust the cue volume, and record a 4 on the floor kick drum pattern using only Ableton Push. Good luck!